Very good evening. From stories around the world to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. I'm Vidushni Sadish Kumar.
And I am Thilina Udayaratna. First of all, we take a look at tonight's top stories.
People flock at the mammoth rally Rata Rakina Jana Balaya. The president pledges to increase the income of the farmers by 100%. The Prime Minister offers a challenge to the opposition. Paddy purchasing increased from 90 to 95 rupees. The Minister of Labour informs the Parliament that relevant institutions have been enlightened over not charging taxes on the EPF. Sri Lanka has been identified as a country with minimum threats of COVID-19. The number of global COVID-19 infected persons exceed 400 million. More than 500,000 coronavirus deaths since the eruption of Omicron.
For starters, we take a look at some local stories. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa pledges to enhance the income of farmers by 100% in the next 3 years. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa informs the opposition not to engage in devious strategies but to come before the people and, if possible, win the elections. The President and the Prime Minister have made these remarks participating in the first of the series of rallies of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna named Rata Rakina Jana Balaya at the Salgadu Stadium in Anuradhapura today. The public rally has been organised by ministers and MPs including Minister S.M. Chandrasena representing the Anuradhapura district. Cabinet ministers, state ministers, parliamentarians and regional politicians representing the SLPP have attended the meeting. A large crowd has flocked to the Salgadu grounds and the rally commenced upon the signing and singing of the official song of the Podujana Peramuna.
Sri Lanka Padujana Peramune Garu Nirmatru Mudal Amatya Basil Rohana Rajapaksa Mettuman Api Undusum Atpasannadekin Piliganimu.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa joined the rally around 4:40 this evening amidst the rousing reception of a massive crowd. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa said that all their victorious election campaigns started from Anuradhapura. A similar journey will be commenced from Anuradhapura this time as well. The country needs a crucial government at this moment. The UNP had ruled the country for 40 years. However, even until 2005, only 12 rupees were paid for 1 kilogram of paddy. He had recalled how farmers committed suicide by drinking poison at that time. He asked whether those who are crying today for farmers were present with them at their time of misery. When they were paying 25 rupees for a kilo of paddy and providing fertilizer for 350 rupees, their opponents had asked them whether they had found Aladdin's strange lamp. He further said that they had purchased 1 kilogram of paddy for 25 rupees after providing the farmers fertilizer for 350 rupees. Today, they have given fertilizer concessions and purchased a kilo of paddy for 55 rupees. Today, farmers are receiving the biggest relief in history. The entire country is aware who had infuriated farmers and brought the government employees to the road. They were conspiring to destabilize every act of the government. They are preparing to confuse the activities within the next 3 years as well. He also said that they are not afraid of challenges. The power stations were constructed for the well-being of the country. The president was aware of the challenges when the organic fertilizer farming was brought before the farmers.
ගොවියෝ අතරට යන්න සූදානම් ජනතාව අතරට යනවා අපිත් මේ අභියෝගයට මුහුණ දෙන්න සූදානම් ඊළඟ ඡන්දේ පරාද වෙයි කියලා බයේ රට ගැන තීන්දුව නොගෙන හරියනම් මේ වෙනකොට නොරොච්චෝලේ කල්ලඟුරු බලාගාරයක් නැහැ එදා නොරොච්චෝලේ කල්ලඟුරු බලාගාරය හදන්න ගියාම දැවැන්ත විරෝධයක් මතු කර බව ඔබට මතක ඇති නමුත් අපි ඡන්ද ජයග්‍රහණය ගැන හිතන්නේ නැතුව රට වෙනුවෙනුයි ඔබ වෙනුවෙනුයි නොරොච්චෝලේ බලාගාරය හැදුවේ ඊළඟ ඡන්දයෙන් අපිට පරාද වෙයි කියලා පරාද කරවයි කියලා බයක් තිබුණා නම් වරාය නගරයක් මේ රටට නැහැ හම්බතට වරායත් මේ රටට නැහැ ඊළඟට ඡන්දය ගැන හිතුවනම් LTT ත්‍රස්තවාදයේ එරියෝ යුදවදින්න අපි සූදානම් වෙන්නෙත් නැහැ කාබිනික පොහොර ගොවිතැනට මුළු රටටම හරවනකොට ජනාධිපතිතුමා අපි දැනගෙන හිටියා මේ වගේ අභියෝගයකට මුහුණ දෙන්න සිද්ධ වෙනවා කියලා ඒ විතරක් නොවේ MCC කිව්වසුම අත්සන් කරනකොට එක ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරනකොට අපි දැනගෙන හිටියා මේ අභියෝගය අපිට එයි කියලා ඒත් අපි අපේ රට ගැන හිතලා තීන්දුව ගත්තා කුමන්ත්‍රණ අත්තරලා ජනතාව අතරට ඇවිත් අපිත් එක්ක සටන් කරන්න පුළුවන් නම් දිනන්න කියලා විපක්ෂයට අභියෝග කරන්න මම සූදානම්
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa said that in his first election meeting, he pledged to provide fertilizer free of charge and the guaranteed price for paddy will be increased. His first duty as president was to fulfill these pledges. He wants to promise that he will increase the farmers' income by 100%. Today, a kilo of paddy is being purchased for 95 rupees. The lands snatched from the farmers have been given back. Those who had done nothing for agriculture are trying to deceive the farmers today in order to fulfill their dreams to become president. It was President Mahinda Rajapaksa who had rescued the country and directed it towards economic development. In the year 2015, false propaganda had been waged to deprive them of presidency. Easter Sunday bombings had taken place and intelligence divisions were destroyed. Gallant soldiers were betrayed. Bhikkhus were directed to court. However, the present government has reinstated national security within 2 years. The Kuragala Vihara, the Muhudu Mahavihara and the Digavapi have once again been consolidated as national treasures. Those who have remained as ministers for 15 years are trying to create balavegas and holding seminars to misguide the masses. The president has inquired what they have done during the time they functioned as ministers. The organic fertilizer program got underway after evaluating the terrible tragedies caused as a result of kidney diseases and cancer. The president requested the masses to continue to place their confidence and trust with the government. Local and foreign forces are trying to recapture power. The president, commenting on the COVID-19 pandemic, said they have successfully faced the challenge.
අද මේවා අපේ උරුම බවට නැවතත් තාවුරු වෙලා තිබෙනවා. බොරු වලට රැවටිලා නැවතත් මේවා පාවා දෙන්න සෞදානම් වෙන්නට එපා. අවුරුදු 15ක් එක දිගට ඇමතිකම් කරපු අය අද බලවේග හදාගෙන ජනතාව අතරට අවිල්ලා වෘත්තිකයන් එක්ක සම්මන්ත්‍රණ තියලා බොරු කතා කරනවා. එයා අවුරුදු 15ක් බලගත්තු ඇමතිවරු වෙලා හිටියා මොනවද කරේ? කරපු දේවල් දිහා බලන්න. අපි තමුන්නාන්සලා ඉදිරියට එන්නේ වැඩ කරලා මගේ ප්‍රතිපත්ති අපේ පක්ෂයේ ප්‍රතිපත්ති අපේ ආණ්ඩුවේ ප්‍රතිපත්ති ඉදිරි අනාගතයේ බලලා කරන ප්‍රතිපත්ති අපි ඒ වගේම ඒ හරිත කෘෂි කර්මාන්තයක් ගැන කතා කරන්නේ වකුගඩු රෝගය පිළිකා රෝගය මේවා දිහා බලලායි නමුත් අපි ප්‍රාථමිකව ගොවි ජනතාවගේ ආර්ථිකය වැටෙන්නට දෙන්නේ නැහැ මොනම ක්‍රමයකින් හෝ අපි ඒ ආර්ථිකය රැකගෙනයි අපි ඉදිරියට යන්නේ මම තමුන්නාන්සලාගෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා අපිත් එක්ක එකතු වන්න විශ්වාසය තවන්න අද මේ රටේ දේශීය විදේශීය බලවේග මේ රජය කඩන්නට මේ යන ගමන වළක්වන්නට උත්සාහ ගන්නවා එදා අපි බලය ගත්තාම අපේ සැලැස්මක් තිබුණා නොමුත් අපිට අභියෝගවලට මුහුණ දෙන්නට වෙනවා. අපි නොසිතූ විරු අන්දමට මුළු ලෝකයටම අභියෝගයක් වුණ කොවිඩ් වසංගතය ආවා. අපි ඒ අභියෝගයට මුහුණ දුන්නා. අපි එදා පොරොන්දු වුණු ඒ සෞභාග්‍යයේ දැක්ම ඉදිරි අවුරුදු 3 ඇතුළත අපි සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම ක්‍රියාත්මක කරනවායි කියන එක තමුන්නාන්සලාට පොරොන්දු වෙනවා.
The program to purchase paddy in the Maha season is being implemented successfully. A kilo of Nadu paddy is being purchased for 90 rupees and a kilo of Samba paddy is being purchased for 92 rupees and a kilo of Kiri Samba for 95 rupees. 29 paddy purchasing centres of the Paddy Marketing Board are functioning in the Anuradhapura district alone. Minister S.M. Chandrasena was engaged in an inspection tour to look into the purchasing of paddy by the government at the guaranteed price. Purchasing of paddy of the Maha season in the Kurunegala district has also commenced. District Secretary R.M.R. Ratnayaka says that 2,300 metric tons of paddy have already been purchased. Deputy Chairman of the Paddy Marketing Board, H. Duminder Priyadarshan, requests farmers to bring their paddy harvest to the board.
The work stoppage commenced by several nurses' trade unions has continued for the third day today. As a result, patients have been subject to further difficulties. 18 amalgamated trade unions comprising of nurses, supplementary medical and interim services are engaged in the strike based upon several demands including the removal of salary anomalies. However, the strike is not being implemented in 6 main hospitals and in one other health institution. Many services in the health sector have been obstructed by trade union action. President of the Public Services United Nurses Union, Venerable Muruttettuve Anandathera, has responded with his opinions regarding the statements made by professional associations continuously engaged in the strike. Venerable Muruttettuve Anandathera said that 4 of the 7 demands presented by the union have been fulfilled. The President has agreed to resolve the remaining problems as well. The President of the association added that they have no objections of the teachers winning their demands on salary increases. Pushpa Ramyani D'Souza, representing the Government Services United Nurses Union, said that 100% of the nurses at the Colombo National Hospital were engaged in their duties despite the prevalence of a strike in the hospital. Deputy Secretary of the Government Services United Union, Pushpa Ramyani D'Souza, said 100% of the nurses at the National Hospital are engaged in their work. The nurses have expanded their service capacity to the maximum extent under the existing circumstances. Meanwhile, several civil organizations and the Nava Singhale National Organization have handed over a complaint to the police headquarters today.
Now on to our Corona local update. The American Disease Control and Prevention Center has categorized Sri Lanka to the tourist as a third-level country with the least amount of threat from the COVID pandemic. Sri Lanka has earlier been ranked as a country with a fourth-level danger. 135 countries have been used in the evaluation. The decision was based on the number of patients and deaths in the relation to the population of the country. The centre further says that the success of the vaccination program in Sri Lanka has contributed to this progressive situation. Inoculation of persons above the age of 20 years with the booster vaccine is being carried out successfully throughout the island. A vaccination program has been conducted at the Diatha premises in Colombo from the morning of today as well. Inoculation of the booster vaccine on the employees of the Softlogic Global Supermarket Complex has taken place today. The event has been organized through collaboration of the Army Medical Unit at the Makumra branch in Kottava. The coordinator of the program was Director General of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, Jampati Bandara Kenda. The Director General of Health Services has confirmed 36 COVID-19 related deaths which have occurred yesterday. 25 of the fatalities were of the ages 60 years or above. 8 of victims were between the ages of 30 and 59 years. 3 fatalities were below the age of 30 years.
Well, on the same note, Director General of Health Services Dr. Hemantha Herath says that people should be more cautious in their activities in order to avoid another COVID-19 outbreak in the country. He made these remarks addressing a media briefing held today.
There are reports about political or different types of rallying of people in Colombo and various places have been reported. Organizing such events is a right of the people. However, we know that this type of gatherings are having an increased risk of spreading the disease and creating clusters. And therefore, I would like to urge everyone who are organizing these occasions as well as those who are participating in these events, I would request them to act in a responsible manner in deciding, organizing and participating in these events, because any such event, whether it is happening according to the health guidelines or not, the likelihood of creating a clusters through any person who is their infected person can create a huge spread of disease, and people to participate these kind of events are coming from different parts of the island, and this disease can spread to many parts of the country also because of such gatherings. So therefore, I would like to request all who are responsible for these activities to act in a responsible manner and ensure that you are not going to spread the disease. And also questions have been raised about the availability of rapid antigen test kit. There was a short supply of antigen kits. That is not total interruption of supply, but because of the increased demand all over the world, supply of items to Sri Lanka also in a way curtailed, and therefore we got small quantities at frequent intervals. These are the stocks that we used up to now, and we know that in coming days there will be sufficient quantities of rapid antigen stocks are expected to arrive, and therefore this problem will not further arise.
Moving on to some Corona World news, the World Health Organization has lamented that 500,000 COVID-19 deaths had been recorded since the Omicron variant was discovered, calling the toll beyond tragic. Meanwhile, COVID-19 has infected more than 400 million people, while reporting over 5.7 million globally. The World Health Organization's incident manager, Abdi Mahmoud, has said that 130 million cases and 500,000 deaths had been recorded globally since the Omicron variant was declared as a variant of concern in late November. It has since rapidly overtaken the Delta variant as the world's dominant COVID variant, as it is more transmissible though it appears to cause less severe illness. World Health Organization has also emphasized that 50 of the 53 countries and territories in its European region have reported the variant, as it calls for indoor mask mandate and speedy vaccinations. More than half of people in Europe may contract the Omicron coronavirus variant in the next 2 months if infections continue at current rates. Hong Kong has reported highest number of COVID-19 cases since the pandemic began and has reported at least 1,160 daily COVID-19 cases, a new record for the global financial hub that has been struggling to contain an outbreak of the Omicron variant. Meanwhile, South Korea has reported a record high 49,567 new daily COVID-19 cases as the Omicron variant drives a wave of infections. The Japanese Prime Minister has announced today that the government would extend COVID restrictions in Tokyo and 12 prefectures by 3 weeks as the Omicron variant continues to spread across the country. Japan has been breaking daily records of COVID-19 cases and deaths amid a surge in infections driven by Omicron. Meanwhile, the Royal Court of Denmark has said in a statement today that Denmark's Queen Margaret has tested positive for COVID-19 and is showing mild symptoms. The 81-year-old monarch, who has held the throne for half a century, has cancelled her planned winter holiday in Norway and currently isolating in a wing of the Amalienborg Palace in the heart of Copenhagen.
Secretary-General of the Society of International Red Cross and Red Crescent, Jagan Shapagan, has called on Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at the Temple Trees yesterday. The International Red Cross and Red Crescent is the largest humanitarian organization in the world with a membership of 192 countries. The Prime Minister at the meeting said that the gratitude of the Sri Lankan government is being bestowed upon the International Red Cross and Red Crescent Society for the humanitarian assistance extended at every occasion Sri Lankan people were confronted with catastrophes. The Secretary General of the Society has pointed out that the Sri Lanka Red Cross Society is an extremely active organization functioning with a sense of transparency. He added that the Society is hoping to provide more benefits to the Sri Lankan people by giving prominence to other requests on relief service activities. The Prime Minister said that the government is extending their fullest support for the role being played by the Sri Lanka Red Cross Society under the leadership of its President Jagat Abesinghe. Prime Minister's Secretary Anura Disanayake, Government and Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka Ajit Niwad Cabral, Chief Representative of the Indian region of the International Red Cross and Red Crescent Society Udaya Rajimi, as well as officials of the Sri Lanka Red Cross Society have also taken part in the meeting.
It has been revealed in Parliament today that a definition has been presented by the Department of Inland Revenue over the charging of a 15% tax through the Employees Provident Fund as a result of a new tax act presented by the previous government. Minister of Labour Nimal Siripala de Silva said that it has already been informed on the ministerial level to the Ministry of Finance and the Department of Inland Revenue not to levy taxes through the EPF. The Parliament debate also focused on the present economic situation in the country. Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa said that the biggest fund in Sri Lanka is the Employees Provident Fund with 3 trillion rupees. The profit of the fund is 250 billion rupees. He added that a 25% of the tax has been charged for this fund. Minister of Labour Nimal Siripala de Silva said that this is not only a gazette notification but also that was given a definition by the Department of Inland Revenue. There had been an opinion that a tax should be charged under the Act of Revenue earned via the EPF and ETF as it is considered as an investment. The minister added that, however, that his ministry has taken a clear decision in this regard. Accordingly, they have informed the treasurer that the definition of the department was erroneous. He added that the Commissioner General of Inland Revenue has also been informed of the minister's decision several months ago. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that the Inland Revenue Act of the Mahinda Rajapaksa regime does not exist today. It was totally freed of taxes. However, the previous government of good governance had created the controversial act.
The presentation of Keynes to 1,000 persons of visual disabilities has commenced at the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation today. The program has been organized by the Kannadiya project of the SLBC. The event was conducted under the direction of the Minister of Mass Media, Dallas Alahaperuma, today. On this occasion, white canes and food items have been symbolically presented to 20 visually handicapped persons. The remaining persons with disabilities are scheduled to be provided with walking sticks in the time ahead. In parallel to the program, SLBC announcers and the Sri Lanka Eye Donation Society have embarked upon a program for the donation of eyes and body parts upon the death of a person. A group including the Minister of Mass Media has signed agreements in this connection. The minister said on this occasion that justice should be granted on disabled persons in media reporting. Minister of Mass Media Dallas Alahaperuma said that the School of Persons of Visual Disabilities is called the College of the Blind. He has questioned the justifiability of identifying the school in this name. The location where the school is established is known by the name Golumadama Junction. The minister added that we are living in the 3rd decade of the 21st century, but we are still hurting the feelings of the disabled. The minister has stressed the need of the media using civilized words in a humane manner without insulting any citizen. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation Hudson Samarasinghe, Chairman of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation Sonala Gunawardena, the staff of the SLBC and artists have also attended the event.
The High Commission of the Government of New Zealand in Sri Lanka has donated a set of equipment to the Ombudsman Office of the Parliamentary Commissioner on Administrative Affairs. New Zealand High Commissioner in Sri Lanka, Michael Edward Appleton, has handed over 8 laptop computers and 4 printers to the Ombudsman Office this morning. This is the outcome of a request made by the Ombudsman Office from the High Commissioner, who was engaged in an inspection tour of the office in October last year. The request was made in connection with allowing work to be done from home during the pandemic period.
On behalf of the staff members of
I welcome His Excellency Michael Appleton, the High Commissioner representing the Government of New Zealand, to this memorable event. I had the pleasure of meeting His Excellency Mr. Appleton on 15th October 2021. I informed him of the necessity of some electronic equipments for the use of the members of the staff so that it would help enhancing the quality of their work and also to attend to their day-to-day work speedily. I received an email stating that the High Commission is willing to give us 8 laptops and 4 printers for the use of this office. Finally, we were able to arrange today's ceremony to hand over those equipments officially to this office by His Excellency.
I first really just wanted to say how privileged New Zealand feels to be working with Sri Lanka in this area. A strong conviction we have is that no country is ever perfect and no institutions have ever been perfected, nor has any system been perfected. And it's the role of all of us as public servants to strive to be better. And one of the ways that we strive to be better is through our accountability mechanisms. And when you came to us with this request for this equipment, I was very pleased that we were able to take it up. COVID has made the role of government more challenging and more complicated. And it was very important to us, and thinking about your request, to place an emphasis on ensuring that you and your staff can operate in these unusual times. Very pleased that the equipment is now here, and I really hope that the laptops and the printers get well used as you get through your important work in the months ahead.
The European Union and Sri Lanka have exchanged views and updates on a wide range of topics of bilateral interest, ranging from governance, reconciliation and human rights to trade, development cooperation and security and counter-terrorism. The discussions were held during their 24th meeting of the Joint Commission held in Brussels yesterday. Issuing a joint statement, the European Union and Sri Lanka said the bilateral relations were reviewed during the meeting. The European Union congratulated Sri Lanka on the country's effective vaccine strategy in the face of COVID-19 outbreak and highlighted the need of address to vulnerabilities and inequalities exploited by the pandemic. Sri Lanka appraised on progress in reconciliation and in the independent institutions, and the European Union encouraged Sri Lanka to continue cooperation and engagement with the Human Rights Council and its mechanisms. The EU reiterated its continued commitment to support Sri Lanka in justice, reform and reconciliation. Responding over the import restrictions imposed on European products, Sri Lanka clarified that the temporary import restrictions on non-essential items have been imposed strictly as an interim measure due to a foreign exchange shortfall resulting from the impact of the global pandemic. Sri Lanka appreciated the valued contribution of the GSP Plus regime to the country's sustainable development. Sri Lanka reiterated its commitment to effective implementation of the 27 conventions related to GSP Plus scheme. Discussions was also held on regional developments and cooperation in the Indian Ocean. The European Union presented Global Gateway, the new EU plan for major investments in infrastructure development around the world, which was launched last year. The European Union and Sri Lanka agreed to convene the next Joint Commission meeting in Colombo in 2023. They also discussed the time frame of the next working group meetings under the Joint Commission.
Former Chief Minister of the North Central Province, Pechala Jayaratne, says that it was former President Maithripala Sirisena who should take the full responsibility on postponing elections in the country. Former Chief Minister of the North Central Province, Peshal Jayaratne, said that it was Maithripala Sirisena who had postponed the holding of elections and provincial council elections scheduled to be conducted in the 2017-2018 period. He had failed to bring a new election system, which he had promised. The Delimitation Commission appointed was unable to fulfill its duties. The former president had every opportunity to prepare a delimitation strategy by appointing a commission. Instead, he had brought an act which had paved the way for his defeat. Former President Maithripala Sirisena says that he was not responsible for these developments. The former Chief Minister of the Central Province has pointed out that if he was unable to take responsibility, then why did he function as the head of state? Therefore, the former president should take full blame for postponing elections. Well, that's a wrap on tonight's Rupavahini English News. Join us once again tomorrow at the same time. Until then, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a good night.
Good night.